Let's look at this Vikings offensive line. All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show. I'm Onebar with Sir Lupagus, and we're continuing our training camp preview, and we're looking at the offensive line.
I didn't know I got knighted. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
It's like took a little off the top when they did put that sword over my head. Yes, we were going to look at the Vikings O-line, a unit that I think should be improved over what we've seen in years prior. Before we hop in that, be sure to remember this video is brought to you by Liftbridge Brewing Company. Check out the damn brewery itself. Go there in Stillwater. If not, check out your local liquor stores for a fine selection of their delicious, delicious beers. And speaking of delicious, subscribe to the channel.
Subscribe to the channel. Let's get some subs going. If you're watching this and you have a soul, hit that sub button. Also, Liftbridge, starting this month, we'll be doing a $75 giveaway where you can just go online, get their merch, get some sweet glasses, whatever. So next week, we'll be figuring out some sort of contest, some sort of ruse to get you to do that. So thank you, Liftbridge. But let's look at this offensive line.
I love good ruse. Let's break it down by position. Let's start in the middle. Let's start with the centers. The ones who are actually listed as centers. This doesn't mean these will be the centers. This is how it currently stands. You got Garrett Bradberry.
Hold on your horses here. Let's pull up your britches. Before we get into the players, I'm very curious. Like, what's your expectations before we get into these guys? Like, how are you feeling about the offensive line going into the season?
I already gave a little taste of that. I think it's going to be a better unit. I just don't know with how these guys are listed right now, if that's how they're going to – these are the positions they're going to actually end up playing, much like the D-line, which we have not yet discussed. This is going to be a shuffled group of men, and I love to shuffle my men around, and I think the Vikings will do the same this year.
Yeah, I mean, PFF just came out with their rankings. Not just came out. Last month, they did their rankings as far as offensive lines, and the Vikings come in at 19th overall, which is it's fair. I actually, not to be too much of a homer, I would say they're around 15. I'd put them right smack in the middle, kind of.
Well, you got 3 of the 5 positions figured out. You got your left tackle, Christian Darius, coming off a good rookie year where he was out half the year with injury, missed most of the training camp, mini camp. So him with the full offseason, very, very excited for year 2 for Christian Darius. Then you got right tackle Brian O'Neill, simply one of the best right tackles in the game. Then you got Ezra Cleveland, now second year in a row at the same position. We're not going to keep jerking him around. He's back.
Be his third year.
Well, I think they need transition over there that first year there. So, I mean, 2 full years at the same position now for Ezra. I think those are 3 solid spots. It's what happens with these other 2 that's going to determine how good this line is going to be.
All right, let's do it then. Let's hop right into the middle. Lupagus' favorite part.
Yeah, let's do it. So Garrett Bradberry is the starting center for the Minnesota Vikings, whether you like it, hate it, or just you're dealing with it. Behind him, I got to be honest, you look at the depth chart, Austin Schlottman, undrafted rookie Josh Sokol. I don't think either one of these guys is making the team.
No, that's what the depth chart says. Chris Reed is going to be that backup center. He has to be the backup center. There's no other options. They're not going to move Ed Ingram around. It's going to be Chris Reed. It's going to be a battle of Bradberry and Reed. And I think both these guys obviously they're going to be on the roster. And this will be a farewell tour for Garrett Bradberry. He will not be back. Opposing teams will be doing ceremonies for Garrett Bradberry at halftime, wishing him well.
The Bears will probably offer him an 8-year deal with $150 million guaranteed next year.
They probably will. So center, you're right. It's going to be those 2. And honestly, if it was up to me, we'll give our ideal starting offensive line at the end. But I want Chris Reed to win this thing so bad.
Yeah, I do too. I think there will, probably give Ingram or Wyatt Davis snaps too. So you have that emergency guy as a guard. So they will have at least 3 options there if things really got bad. But I don't expect Schlottman or Sokol to be part of this team once the final cuts are made.
If they draft Ed Ingram that early and start dicking around with him at center, shame on them. And that is just stupid. He is a guard. He's going to be one of our guards moving forward, and leave him alone.
I'm not sure. I mean, like I said, he played at the Senior Bowl. He won an award playing it at the Senior Bowl.
Because they didn't have any centers there.
They did it with Ezra Cleveland. They moved him too. So they could definitely do it. So I'm not gonna just assume these guys are gonna stay at guard. I think there
was barely any centers at the Senior Bowl. They were putting everybody there
in flux. Let's talk about the guards. Let's go with the guards here. And on the right side, depth chart: Wyatt Davis, Ed Ingram, Jesse Davis, and on the left side, Kyle Hinton, Chris Reed, Ezra Cleveland. How many of these guys do you think are going to actually make this team?
Well, last year the Vikings kept 9 offensive linemen total, and we're already. I mean, this is going to be some very tough moves. The Oli Udos of the world, the Kyle Hintons of the world, are going to probably be no longer on this roster. So I think Jesse Davis is by no means a lock. I honestly think he'll probably might not even make the team. Ezra Cleveland, I'm very excited about. Like you said, this will be his 3rd year. He's got 2 more years left on his contract. Ezra Cleveland, very underrated. It's to be funny because when he comes a free agent, he's going to make some money. He's going to make some cash.
Yeah, and
I think we take him for granted.
Yeah, I think looking at these guards, I'd keep more of these guards than I would the tackles. I think Kyle Hinton will be gone. He's the one I'm going to bet 100% that he will not be with the team anymore. Wyatt Davis is not safe. You mentioned Jesse Davis. I think he's probably going to stick around, but not excited. I don't know. Jesse Davis winning the right guard spot does nothing for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to Jesse Davis or Wyatt Davis as far as that final spot. Wyatt Davis, it's going to be sad if he's just 1 year and done and we never even got to see him, but we'll see. But it's just gross. I mean, when you get to these backup guards, it's just really gross.
Well, and what's the worst with Wyatt Davis is how bad we wanted him. We were clamoring for him. I think it was pick 12. No, was it 12? Whatever the hell it was that year. 14, 16, 18. We wanted Wyatt Davis more than anything. Ended up getting him in round 3. And he's just not been around. It's like we didn't draft him at all.
I think we're gonna get a real quick sense of what Wyatt Davis' future is at training or preseason games. If he is getting in at the end of the 4th quarter, sad day
for sure. And you mentioned the guard depth being gross. I think the tackle depth is even grosser. And let's talk about that right now. Right side, Brian O'Neill, Oli Udo, Blake Brandel. Hop over to left, Christian Darius, Vidarian Lowe, and something called Timon Paris. Maybe it's Paris. I don't know. And I don't want to know because he ain't going to be around here very long.
Maybe it's pure ass.
It probably is pure ass.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying, you look at this tackle depth. This is horrifying. Vidarian Lowe, 6th-round rookie, no lock to make the team. He is your primary backup on the left side, according to this depth chart. Oli Udo, he can play anywhere. He can play right tackle. He can play left tackle. He can play center. He plays every position like ass. So I don't think I want him on this team either. And you got Blake Brandel. Maybe you keep Blake Brandel around. So I actually think, looking at these guys, I'm keeping more guards than I am tackles. These tackles are gross.
Well, luckily, like the Reeds and the Jesse Davises and Ezra Clevelands, they can play pretty much anywhere. So that gives you a little bit of flexibility. But you say Vidarian Lowe is no lock to make the team. I think he absolutely is, just based off of this competition. And I think, down the road, he can add some value as a nice little depth piece, but I don't think he's going to be ready as a rookie.
No.
So this could be offensive line, especially tackle, will definitely be one on the radar with final cuts to bring in some sort of veteran to throw back there as a backup player. And we always see some big name tackles get the axe at the end of preseason. So I don't think this is going to be the final.
Well, and there is some upside here. You mentioned Vidarian Lowe, 6th-round pick rookie. He could surprise. Blake Brandel really hasn't got much of a shot. I think he's played 53 offensive snaps in his career. I think he's played some of those at tight end. He's played inside. He's played outside. So there is still some possibility, some hope for those two. Oli Udo, I get it. He's versatile, but I'd rather keep a versatile guard. You mentioned Jesse Davis. Ezra Cleveland, emergency situations, you could bump those guys out. So there is some options here. But yeah, this is like one position, tackle, where the Vikings cannot afford an injury to a starter.
Yeah, we've just had these guys just hanging around with the previous regime, the Brandels, the Kyle Hintons, the Oli Udos, and those will be weeded out. I'm not saying all of them, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was all of them. So we'll see. Offensive line as a whole, I'm actually pretty excited. I cannot wait to see Darius. I can't wait to see Cleveland in year 3. I can't wait to see what they do with Ed Ingram if he's that starting other guard. Whatever they do, I'm pretty excited about the offensive line. This doesn't keep me up at night like it did a couple years ago.
Well, you did say we were going to say what we want the final O-line to look like, and let's hear it.
Well, I think we're going to end up pretty much the same. So Darius, Cleveland, and then we got Brian O'Neill. I want Ed Ingram getting that job day 1, and then I got Chris Reed as our center.
Yeah, that's what I want to see too. That's not what I think it's going to be. That's why I hope it is.
We'll see. Right. We'll see. Let us know in the comments who you want your offensive line to be, who you want gone, and what your favorite Lift Bridge beer is.
And also, let me know what you think of this. A group of pandas is called an embarrassment.